Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to trial my first video on Zoom, so you have the online screen. To introduce today's video, I'd like to start our topic from chapter 9a. I want to actually talk about what normally distributed data is. So when we talk about normal distributed data, you need to understand there are characteristics that make it normal distributed. Sorry about the typing. For something to be normally distributed, what it means is your set of data has to actually present a bell-shaped curve. Okay, that's a must for it to be classified. If it's not like this, the one that I've just shown you, and let's say your data is a bit like long from the left and then you get a little high peak right at the end and you kind of close off like this, we don't actually classify this as normally distributed because it's not normally distributed, because what's wrong with it is that it is skewed to the left. Great, SQLC. So for something to be normally distributed, what it actually means is that at the center, which is actually representing your mean, this is where majority of the set of scores will be. Let's talk about an exam. In an exam out of 100%, let's say the mean was 50%, which means most of the students sat around passing or not passing, okay? We had a few kids that got more than 50, okay? Maybe they got 65%, 75%, or someone got 99%. And then there were a few kids that actually didn't pass. They didn't get more than 50. They got 40%, 30%, 20%. So when we actually average those marks out and standard deviation comes into play, which we talk about in next exercise, you come across with the normally distributed data, which turns out to be a bell-shaped. Now, for this to actually work, there are some characteristics that you really need to understand. I'm going to say the 5 characteristics and I'll write them on this side, okay? First of all, the characteristic has to be symmetrical, okay? So for us to classify anything normally distributed, it has to be symmetrical. So that means your peak would be around your mean and your left-hand side and your right-hand side will be a mirrored reflection. Second thing is you need to understand that the mean, the median, and the mode is equal. They all are the same. If your median, and your mean, they don't match, then your data is not normally distributed. Okay, it has to be skewed. Third thing is that majority of the data will be in the center, and that's for obvious reasons because majority of the students will be around the mean. Okay. I will, yeah, don't know how to write that. And there will be some small amounts of data that we classify as the tails of our bell-shaped. So that means that when we talk about our tails, these are like your little tails that kind of go on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, but your majority of the data will be in the center. Fourth thing I needed to understand is that there will be the tails on the left and the right-hand side, okay? Yeah, and the last thing is that your mean and standard deviation of the data set is used to define normal distribution. I feel like a lot of these characteristics are kind of intervene with one another, but what you need to take away from this is that normally distributed data is like a bell-shaped, your mean being in the center for it to be the peakest or the peak of the representation of that shape, and then it flows down on the left and it flows down on the right. And that's what makes any set of data to be normally distributed. Okay,